Good old Gears, a classic character from Generation 1. Why couldn't they have released you earlier? That way you would have been included in our montage. Oh well. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we are taking a look at a classic character finally done up in Legacy United. This is Gears from the Generation 1 era. Now, of course, this version of Gears is done up more to resemble his animated counterpart from the 1980s cartoon. And, of course, here's original Gears for a comparison of the two. The original version of Gears was one of the first toys available because he was out in 1984. He would also be available in 1985 and would be discontinued in 1986. Gears was, unfortunately, a relatively minor character in the Transformer media at the time. Gears was one of them that was usually mopey and depressed, but he was mostly using that as an act to cheer up his fellow Autobots as they tried to cheer him up. During the comic book tie-in to the 80s cartoon, since it was published by Marvel, the Transformers would often get featured in crossovers and encounter various Marvel characters. Gears, in particular, became best friends with Spider-Man. Maybe he was hoping for a date with the Black Cat or Mary Jane Watson. Oh, well, we can all dream, can't we? Not all of us are blessed to have been bitten by radioactive spiders. Alright, here's a closer look at Gears to further show that he is based on the animation model, which is nice. It's hard to tell if we'll get a Studio 86 release of Gears, since Gears did not appear in the animated film. I think out of all the 84 mini vehicles, Gears and Huffer were the only ones to not appear, since Bumblebee and Cliffjumper were on the moon bases. So was Brawn, but Brawn was killed en route, and Windcharger was killed off screen in the film, since we see RC with his body, along with that of Wheeljack. At any rate here, let's take a look at Gears' accessories. Unlike his original, he comes with a little tiny gun. I do like the fact that it's got a grip or a magazine here at the front of it. That's a nice detail. And a couple of sight lines on the top of the gun. That's always a nice details. And of course, it's got an extra post on the one side. That's to mount it on his vehicle mode. Gears also has a removable chest panel. This part right here. It's hinged when you get it attached. That's why I'm having trouble removing it. Plus, of course, I really don't want to remove it too much. It'll wear the plastic out. But this plate here is removable. It is removed on the toy when you buy him, so you have to attach it after the purchase. This is mainly to prevent jerks from reaching in there and breaking it off, since Hasbro's not using plastic. Which I understand, I get it, but they really need to make it so that it's a lot harder for these jerks to go in there and break toys. It's kind of, what kind of a person do you have to be? You want to reach in and you want to break or steal a toy. Alright, at any rate, let's look at Gears' articulation. You can turn his head from side to side, and it is on a ball joint, so it will look up and down a bit. You can raise his arm out to the side, about so far. You can rotate his arm at the shoulder, all the way around. It does catch a little bit on the car kibble, but it's not as bad as you would expect. You can bend his arm at the elbow all the way up, so it's got a double jointed elbow. And he does have a swivel at the bicep, so he can do G.I. Joe battle grip. He can twist his legs at the hips, so he can get some dance moves going if Jazz and Blaster are blasting away some tunes. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. You can rotate his leg at the thigh, so he does have a good thigh cut. It's always nice. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So, all in all, great articulation. Of course, before we transform Gears, I do want to show that if you decide you want to store his gun instead of having him hold it, the gun can be attached with that extra post onto his back, and there you go. Doesn't have to hold the gun. Get rid of it for a moment, because we are about to transform Gears. And he's pretty easy. He doesn't have a whole lot of steps involved. First thing we gotta do is we take his arms, you bend them at both elbow joints so his arms are touching, his hands touch his shoulders. Then we're gonna fold down the entirety of his chest cavity so it opens it up. Then shift the arms at the shoulder joint so they go into his chest, like so. And we're going to turn him around, and you're going to fold out the back portion like so. Then we'll come in here to this piece, and we fold out the tires. And so now that we got him all the way out like that, then we just fold the truck section down over his head. There are some posts just beyond the fender, and they will connect into holes in his shoulder. Just like that. And now we're going to come down here. He'll come down here to his feet. You're going to fold out this portion of his heel. Just exactly like that. Then you bring the leg, bend the legs up at the knee, and then completely fold them over and shift them back a bit so that way the heels will connect to help form the rest of the cab, and his feet form the rear of the truck. So now we come back here to the rear, to his belly, lift up this panel, and you will see there's a couple of holes here. Well, they line up with these posts on his knees, so you'll just fold them down like so to connect them. Make sure the chest panel grabs the backs of his legs, and then fold out the tires. And there you have it. Gears is in his truck mode. And of course, the instructions suggest that you turn the gun upside down. You can attach it here to the side. And then, of course, here is original Gears for comparison's sake. It's interesting to see that they put the Autobot symbol on the modern Gears here on the hood of the truck, whereas on the original it was on the roof of the truck. But of course that's probably due to the fact that since part of the truck's roof forms his heels, it would likely wear away with play wear. due to the constant transforming. But all in all, it's not bad. How well does Gears roll? Rolls pretty good. As you saw, even knocked away the old one. So now we get down to my thoughts. Gears was a nice addition this time around. So I'm hoping that in the coming line next year we'll get a new wind charger. Since we've had a lot of the others already done before. Now, if there's anything to say that's disappointing about Gears, it's one of the other products that Hasbro has put out. Hasbro has done a 3-pack that they are labeling as GoBots, which is basically they're taking an idea that eHobby did a number of years back of releasing a lot of the micro Transformers from Generation 1, repainting them into new colors, and then trying to pass them off as GoBot characters. So, they did the same thing like eHobby. They took Gears and repainted him in yellow and trying to pass him off as Smallfoot. Never mind the fact that Smallfoot was a red truck, not a yellow truck. I don't know why Hasbro did that, other than the fact that they own the names to the GoBots and they feel they can do whatever they want with them. But seriously, you're insulting the GoBot fans. GoBot fans didn't like that old one, and they forced eHobby to change it. We may not have been as vocal about it to Hasbro, but still, it was an idea that was best buried. This version of Gears, though, this is pretty good. I do like the fact that he is based more on the cartoon model, which a lot of fans from that era will appreciate. And like I said, all we need now is a new wind charger, because just about every line from Earthrise on has had at least one of the characters. We have to use the Studio 86 Brawn, but okay, still good enough. But it is nice to see that these guys who are semi-often forgotten have been making a comeback in modern form, and they do look pretty good. At any rate, that's my review of the Legacy United version of Gears. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you love the content we feature here on this channel, I would appreciate a like, a share, and a comment. Excuse me. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is Sparkster1701 saying I'll catch you all later.